And this is sometimes why you want to pay somebody to do the job. Alright, let's see if I can show this on the video. There's the new watch band with the old one. And you can see how much I'm going to have to remove. So, the removal process is not going to be easy. It's never easy. You have to go in there and start pulling this stuff apart inside. But that's what I'm going to do, because that is the whole point of living and experiencing different things and learning how to do different things and try different things. So you don't have to depend on somebody to fix everything and help you. Alright, so I'm going to have to start taking this watch band apart before I can put it back on. Alright, so maybe I was wrong. The dimensions of the watch band might be okay. So these are called spring bars that I took out. The new watch band comes with new spring bars, but do I even want to use those? I don't know if I'm going to use them or not. I've got them. Okay, so I'm going to use the spring bars, try the new spring bars that came with it, and I'll shut off the camera for a minute. Before I do that job, you can see how filthy the inside of this watch is. Still a lot of dirt there, even though I cleaned it up, so I'm going to be cleaning that with some isopropyl alcohol. And then I'll put on the watch band. I'll put the spring bars inside the new watch, band, and then I'll slide them into. Carefully, you got to be really careful with these things, because when you're going to compress it to push them in, they want to slip and go flying across the room, so you don't want that to happen. Okay, so I've got the watch band. I'm going to slide the new spring bar through the hole, and it doesn't want to go through. Lovely. They came with this, but they don't want to go through. Let's try the other side. Alright, there we go. This is where it gets really tricky, because you've got the spring bar, which is the length, the width of the, whatever you want to call it, length or width, of the watch band, and you need to compress these two side pieces so that it fits, so that you can work with these things and get them into your watch without it flying across the room. So let's see if that's going to work. One side is in there. This is called the pain in the ass. And then you gotta try to get it in the hole, which everybody tries to do. Alright, so you don't need to watch me shove this thing in the hole, but that's what I'm going to do right now. It's actually pretty funny. I shut off the camera, and 2 seconds after I do that, it pops in, because I'm able to position it the right way. So you want to make sure that both sides are secure in the hole, in the holes, so that they don't pop out. And I think this is going to fit without me having to remove any links, because I don't want to remove links from this thing. Nope, it's not going to fit. It's going to be wobbly. It's going to be really loose, and that's not good. So, yeah, I'm going to have to remove links from here, probably 2 links, and that is going to make this simple job very difficult. I'm probably going to have to remove 1, maybe 2 links. Alright, on to the next part of the video. Alright, this is I guess you call them a expander watch bands, or Timex Twist Flex, Spidel watch bands, and these things are a pain in the ass to adjust. And I've got to take 2 links out of this thing, so I'm going to be figuring out how to do this as I make a video of it. Some of these things you go from the bottom. You see those 4 notches on there, 2 notches, 2 little tangs on the bottom and 2 little tangs on the top. You're going to have to separate those things and remove the cap, the cover, to be able to remove the links. Other watch bands, you go in there and you remove, you bend up the end to remove the cap on the top. So it just depends on what watch band you have, how you're going to do that. So I'm going to walk you through the whole process as I do it. Alright, so I'm going to be removing 2 links from this thing, so what I'm going to do, what I have to do, this is the bottom of the band. And what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get in there with a screwdriver, because this tool's obviously too big. Let me get a screwdriver. Get in here with a screwdriver, and I'm going to bend this tang up, and I'm going to bend this tang up. Is there good lighting? Yeah. I'm going to bend this tang up and this tang up, and I might have to bend this outer piece of the cover so that the cap comes up. The whole goal is to be able to get to the innards of this thing so that I can this thing so that I can take the cap off. So you don't need to watch me do that. I'm going to go get a screwdriver that's a little sharper right now, and I'm going to bend these 4 tangs up. You want to start in the middle of the watch band. You know, this thing's, like I said, is $10, so if I ruin it, it's not a big deal. I'll just throw the thing in the trash and use a different watch. But that's the process. So let me go bend these 4 tangs up and pull this cap off, and we will go from there. Alright, hopefully you can see this. I went in there with the screwdriver. You need really good tools. If you buy those watch kit repair things online, those tools are crap. They're so big you can't get in there and do what you need to do. So I bent up the 4 tangs over here on the bottom of this watch band, and then I'm going to turn it over and remove the cover, which it's starting to do now. I'm going to shut off the video. I don't want everything to drop out all over the place, but that's the first step. Go in there and remove or bend up these 4 tangs. Alright, hopefully you'll be able to see this cover. The cover is slowly coming off. Tangs are stuck in. Okay, there you go. So that's the first step in this whole process, is you bend those 4 tangs from the bottom and you remove your cover. Set it aside, and on to the next step in a minute. Okay, like I said, I only need to remove 2 links, but that's the, put a little marker over there with 2 red dots. That's the area where I removed the cap. And I'm going to have to pull out 2 links, but I'm going to do this one at a time so I can show you how this is done. So what I'm going to do now that I've removed the cover, you can see I still need to remove these springs, these leaf springs that are sliding in. There's 2 of them that slide in. You got to be really careful what you're doing. They slide in on the top, and the top on the top piece, and they go in on the bottom of something on the bottom piece. You got to be careful. So what I'm going to do now that I've marked this one where I remove the link, I'm going to go to the link next to it, and I'm going to bend those 2 pieces down to remove the cover. Okay, so that's those are the red marks where I removed the cover on the top, and I'm going to the link next to that, and I'm bending the bottom cover tangs down so that I can remove the cover on the one next to that. So you just be careful. Got a screwdriver over here. I'm going to be bending outward. Take your time. Go slowly. Don't jab the screwdriver in your finger. And which I'm very close to being able to do over here. So I'm going to shut off the camera to finish this. But you can see how I removed the top piece, and now I'm removing the side tangs on the bottom part of the band on the link next to it. That will allow me to start disconnecting these leaf springs that are on the side. Alright, another step I'm going to have to do is, and I might remove that last I might say we might not have to do that bottom piece, bending that piece. What I need to do for sure is I need to remove another adjacent link on the top. I need to bend that backwards and remove another cover so that I can slide these leaf springs out. Is that showing up there? Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I remove the cover on here. I'm going to remove the cover on the one next to it. Let me get this in the video. I remove the cover on here. I'm going to remove the cover on here. I bent this bottom piece down below those two so that I'll be able to pull out the leaf springs. Okay, I removed the cover on the two covers, the two adjacent covers on the top and the one on the bottom, and you can see what ends up happening. We have a, whoa, it's making everybody dizzy. You have a leaf spring on one side where it latched in over here. We zoomed in way too much. Where it latched in over here, and we have a leaf spring on the top where it latched in over here. So hopefully, let me zoom out a little bit so you can see what the hell I'm doing. Okay, so there's a leaf spring over here and there's a leaf spring over here. The leaf spring is down there, and this goes underneath on the bottom and it goes on the top on this side. So you just need to look very carefully at what you're doing. Slide these two pieces back together and get the leaf spring to go in on the top and the bottom, and then you would put your covers on. You would bend up your tabs on the bottom piece, and you would put the covers on the top piece, and you would have your watch band put back together. So I'm going to go separate this again and remove a couple links and show you what the final product is. Okay, I just wanted to show you. This was the part that I separated. The right cap. This was the right cap that I removed, and remember we have this tang over here. What I did now, I mean, it all depends on how many links you're taking out. I'm taking out, if you were taking out 3 links, you would not have removed the cover from the link next to it. You would have just done that 2 or 3 down, but I'm going to do it one at a time just so I can be sure. Now that I know that I am definitely removing this link, I didn't need to remove the cover. I could have gone down further, removed this link, and just remove this whole piece. But what I did is I bent the ends back up, because this is one link that's definitely going to go out, and then I'm going to put the cover back on there. Not that I need to, but just so I can show you. And what I need to do is I need to make sure that I remove a cover where I'm going to have the left side tang available. And since I want to remove 2 links, one link is going to go out here, and one link is going to go out here. So I'm going to go over to this third one, which has, and I'm going to go over to the third one, and I'm going to remove the cover over there, and I'm going to bend the bottom pieces down, and I'm going to attach this bottom link. I'm going to be able to use this bottom link to slide it into the other side of the watch band. So hopefully that made sense to you. The main idea is that you just want to remove your covers. You want to remove the covers on the bottom, and you want to make sure that you've got one link over here, one spring over here, one spring on the other side. And this will slide in, and the other spring will slide in to this hole, and your watch band will be connected like it should be. One thing that you should notice about these things is, so you don't get all mixed up, if you're going to be doing this one at a time, which you should if you haven't done this before, just so that it's easier for you to do. You see these tabs over here? The tabs cover 2 they cover the leaf spring on here and the leaf spring on here, the leaf spring on here and the leaf spring, so that you're splitting. So you bend the tab back on the bottom dependent on which spring you need access to. You're really dealing with springs on two different parts of the bracelet, of the band. So just go slow. That's why it's easier to do one. If you know that you're going to take out a couple, take out one. Take out one so you can see what the process is. If you mess it up, it's no big deal because it's going in the trash, and then you've got a couple others to take out. And if you can't make it work, then at least you could take it to the watch place. I will say that if you are not patient, don't bother trying this. If you aren't good with your fingers and small tools and bending things, and if you're not a careful person, if you're somebody who uses a big sledgehammer and has no patience with little tools like this, don't waste your time. It will drive you crazy. You'll either hurt yourself or you'll ruin the watch. But if you have patience and you're willing to spend an hour, 2 hours, 10 minutes, however long it takes you, and you want to work slowly, you'll be able to do this. So just watch what you're doing. You're going to be taking off a clip so that you can free one side, but you're going to be bending down the other part of it so that you can get access to the other leaf spring. It will make sense to you when you start doing it, but do one link at a time until you figure out what you're doing. Okay, I'm trying to do this really trying to do this so that it will make sense to you. That's why it's taken me forever to do, because it'd be a lot easier if I wasn't making the video. But what we have here, this is the top. Let me look at the bottom. Let me look at the bottom. You see how there's a spring, a leaf spring over on the top, and there is no spring here now? Well, what I removed is I removed 2 links just now. The 2 links, if they were, I have to back this off. I have to back off the zoom, or it won't make any sense and you won't be able to see this. Okay, so you see this side needs a spring on the right side, and this part needs a spring that will connect in on the other side. You can see over here how when it's attached together, this spring connects. Yeah, okay. You can see how this spring will connect in here, and this spring on the bottom will connect in to here. And that attaches the watch. So what I removed 2 links, and this is the remaining piece that I'm going to be putting back together. And if you look at how it's set up, it's just like the other one. Well, no, it isn't. I'm going to have to swap out the spring. But what's going to happen is I'll remove this spring and I'll put it down over here. This will mate into this side, and this part will mate into this side with the spring, which I'm going to go remove now. Little leaf spring. I'm just going to pull it out with tweezers, and I should be able to swap that to the other side. So it just comes out like that. I just grab it with the screwdriver, and let me go reposition that on the other side now so you can see how it all connects. Okay, so here it is. That is the original with the little red dot over there. This has been like about 2 hours or something. You're better off buying the Watchband at a store. Pay the guy $10 extra and let him do it. It's an absolute nightmare. I don't think the average person will want to deal with this. I definitely wouldn't want to do this again. Took a lot of time, a lot of patience. You can see that red dot over there where I put the cover back on. Kind of looks like the original. And I've got the 4 covers. I'm going to have to put a couple of these back on. I've got the 2 links that I removed. Is that focusing? Yeah, I've got the 2 links that I removed. You can see on the end we've got the, I gotta cut my nails, guitar player. Okay, you can see the leaf springs on the end over there. Not on that side, not on this side. You can see leaf spring is sitting there waiting to go in. The important thing you really want to pay attention to is you've got this outer part of the band. You have the top part and you have the bottom part. This is the top part. The way you can tell the top part when we turn it over is it's got these 4 notches on there. It's got the notches. That's how you know it's the top part. Now we've got the bottom part of the band. You can see this flat part here. These are the bottom pieces. And the way that you can tell that when it's disconnected is those are the ones that have the little strip down the center. So when you take the watch apart, you're probably going to get all mixed up saying, well, what did I do and what do I have to do? Just remember you've got your top piece with the little tangs, and you've got your bottom piece with the strip, and you've got these leaf springs. Where is that? Can't even see it. You've got the leaf springs that need to go in to the top and the bottom. So you've got to make sure that you've got a top and a bottom set up next to each other, or else it's not going to mate. Just take your time, be patient, look at what's going on. Your leaf springs need to go between the outer cover casing and the little spring that's inside there. They can't go underneath it. It has to go on the outside part of it. And if you look carefully, if you look closely, you'll know what I'm talking about. So it takes a lot of patience to, and this is just 2 links, and this took forever, because I don't do this every day. If I did this every day, it would probably take me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, and that's why these people are paid $10, $15 to do it, because they do it every day and they know how to do it. They're used to it. So I've got 1 extra leaf spring over there. I've got an empty leaf spring hole over there. I've got an empty leaf spring hole over there, an empty spring hole over there. And when I attach my extra spring, then I only really have 2 open holes. Let me go put that in here, and you'll see what I'm talking about now. This is really how it was originally. You've got 1 spring, 1 spring on the top where it mated, 1 spring on the other side where it mated. Or I could take that spring and put it over here, and we'd say 1 goes on the top, 1 goes on the bottom. Either way, that was the repair, and it took forever. Like I said, probably a couple hours, hour and a half or so, and definitely not worth it, but I'm glad I did it because I wouldn't want to waste the money paying somebody else to do something that I can do myself. And finally, this should be a really good way so that you can see what I'm talking about. These are the 2 covers that I took off. I took off the cover on these 2 things. Remember the original one with the red dot? If you look over there, because you can see now it's exposed, you can see the leaf spring is going into the top over there. See the 2 leaf springs are going into the top, and the 2 leaf springs are going into the top over there? That's what's hidden by this cover. So you have 2 springs on the top, and on the bottom, when that piece is moved, you've got 2 springs on the, those 2 springs are on the bottom. And let's take this for example. I have that in the video. The right side, the right spring goes to this bottom piece, the left spring goes to this bottom piece. So you can see it kind of like it shares. This spring goes to the left and the bottom of the next one. This spring goes to the right and the bottom of the one on the other side. So it chains back and forth, and I guess that's it. Time to put the covers on there and close this up. All right, and put the other spring bar in here, and it went flying across the room like I warned everybody they should be careful about. Okay, so I put the other cap on there. remaining parts after this whole job is done is 2 links, 2 leaf springs on the end. I think those are called leaf springs. Maybe those are the hooks. Who knows? All right, let's see if this how this thing works. Oh boy, that's tight compared to what I'm used to. It's got a nice fit. Definitely has a nice fit. It doesn't wobble around. Doesn't seem to be grabbing on the hair. It slides down to the wrist a little bit. So probably earlier in the day. Might be a little looser. So that's it. That's how to adjust an expandable extender, Spidel, Timex, whatever the heck these things are, Twisto Flex watch band. This, like I said, this thing probably took me an hour and a half, 2 hours. Total pain in the ass. If you are not very comfortable using little tweezers and screwdrivers, and if you don't have a lot of patience, I would not even consider doing this. Just spend the money and let somebody do it for you for a few extra bucks. Otherwise, it was just another fun project to do, and yeah, it's definitely tight. Tomorrow, I will complete the video. You already saw me take the battery out. You saw me clean the little switches. You saw me put the watch band on, and tomorrow I'm going to go buy a battery, put it in here, and that will complete the video. So you can see that 2.5 hours to clean a watch, put a battery in, and put a watch band on, which I probably could have spent 10 bucks for, 15 bucks for. It's worth it. All right.